So today we got Marshall Stamper.
Oh, wait.
How do you say it? Do you pronounce it Stamper? do you like the stamp part of it?
Marshall Stamper.
Okay. No special.
No. People in comedy shows try to give me different ways. I haven't found a good one. I had a wrestling coach call me Stomper because he thought I was like a German dude or something. I don't know.
I like that.
It never really stuck though.
Yeah. Dude, that's amazing. I totally forgot that you do comedy.
Dude, I'm looking at this thing you just gave me. Are these my jokes? Like
some of them are.
20
yeah.
to 29?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't recognize any of these.
I've read the mom joke.
Well, no.
I don't know. I don't know what I did for any of this.
So you gave me some lines. So I told Marshall about the Brightside app. Finally doing it. I mean, dude, I thought about this a long time ago. It's this app that reads thoughts. And we came up with a lot of lines, had them recorded. But then I was like, oh, well, Marshall's a funny dude. Let's have him do some lines. And then you gave me your stuff, and I was like, I guess he's not that fucking funny after all.
He wrote that down earlier, you guys.
Yeah.
And here I am looking at it. Should I read one? Like, just can we test them out? Like, is this secret?
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead and test some of those out. Let's see what you come up with.
Okay, so there's no way I wrote this one. This one says, Mom's always been my best friend. I'm so bummed to have to kill her. Like, am I credited with that? Like,
that's the one I picked.
But
okay,
it's
a good one. It's good.
I should have left. It's inside, man. I could probably go print it. If I had an assistant, I would. But
Anthony.
Yeah, go get it.
I don't know how to work at a printer, bro.
Yeah. But it had your original line. Like,
okay.
Your line was something like, "Oh, my mom's my best friend. I hate that I have to kill her." Like that was your
That's
line.
great.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And so I just changed that one a little bit. Some of them. You have another one there about dogs. Go for it.
It's hard to believe I have 13 dogs and 12 of them I had to bury. Bad, Spike. Bad.
I picked that one too.
These are all good. They're funny. I have no memory, which is interesting to me. Like, I don't know what I was doing that day.
Well, on that on that dog one, it's a little different format. The dog one, I think you said you have a dog, but he's buried in the backyard or something like that. And so I was like, this is good. I was like, let's just add a little bit more. And that's what you had told me in the notes too. You like use different inflections, play with the words. So no, but those were your ideas. So thank you for that.
Those are good.
So,
I like it.
And you could funny them up. You could, like, it'd be good. Like, if you take that right there, I think there's 28, 30 lines, funny them up, send them back to me, and then we'll record them, and those will be, like, bonus edition for the app.
Maybe do a little funnying them up.
Yeah.
Get a little funny to these.
Yeah. So, you're a comedian, huh?
Supposedly. I never feel like a comedian, but I have done comedy, so I guess I fall into the category.
And that's your so where would it be? Is that a passion? Is it just something fun to do? Like why do you do it?
It always made sense to me. Like 10 years ago, I was in high school. I didn't have many friends. Comedy Central was booming at the time, so every Friday I was watching stand up. It was just always alluring. Like, it always made sense to me. Before that, I was making movies. I used to go to all these summer camps where we would make movies, like from the ages of like 10 to 15. I was doing this.
Where you were like, what like, part were you doing the making? Were you acting or you...
Every single part: writing, directing, editing, soundtracks, acting. Like, we would basically throughout the week, like the first 2 days were writing, second 2 days were filming, and then we're always late getting it turned in, obviously. But
yeah.
I'm just used to writing out silly shit and fucking running with it.
That's cool. And you never had any problems getting in front of people?
Oh, it's terrifying. I have many problems, yeah. That's why I didn't actually perform stand-up until I was in Taiwan. I had traveled for like 9 months, and then I moved to Taipei, broke, didn't know anyone in the city, and then I had gone to this bar because they're showing John Jones fighting Glover Teixeira. That was the fight. They're showing it on Sunday night, the replay, and I had no idea what was happening. I didn't know anyone in the city. I showed up, and the guy who owns that restaurant, he was involved in the Taipei comedy scene. And so I just asked him, like, I want to know where a show was. I just wanted to, like, know anything, like, when could I come watch? And he's like, yeah, you want to see it or you want to perform? And I went, and he, okay, you'll perform. You got 3 weeks.
Wow.
And then so I wrote out a story about getting a hooker in Thailand who I hadn't told anyone at that point. And I went up there, and for 5 minutes, I just yabbered at it to a group of strangers, like so nervous, so much adrenaline that I don't remember it. Like, I got off stage like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. Like, I'm sure you've had that experience like in a jiu-jitsu tournament. It's pretty similar, Whereas as soon as you get off the mat, if someone's like, "Hey, how's your arm?" and that, you're like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
Right.
Yeah,
Like
just
I don't
going
remember.
for
I don't
it.
remember an arm bar. Like you're there a minute and a half. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is it something about adrenaline and yeah. And so it just always made sense to me. And then from then on, I performed a lot in Taipei, which at the time there wasn't much going on. It was like every 2 or 3 weeks we'd have a show. And then even then it was illegal. I faced deportation every time I went on stage.
It was illegal?
Yeah, something
Wow.
about like usually legal loopholes work in your favor, like that term legal loophole. But this was like the opposite. Like it was some sort of tax code. Foreigners can't perform because if there is payment. So even though there wasn't, but if there was. It was something like that. So a couple shows, like I was scheduled to go up and then just kind of running late. I don't know what's going on. Cops show up. I was supposed to be on stage at that time. And it's kind of something that I romanticized. I was like, why not? Why not get deported from this country? I was like, what, 23, 24 at the time?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you got a story.
Yeah,
That's
well, why
awesome.
not? Like, for doing
Go
comedy,
it.
like, what am I going to
Yeah.
lose? This job? Like, I was teaching English, like...
Yeah, tell that bit. Yeah, like you did. Do that. Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, didn't even happen. We're still talking about it.
Yeah.
Imagine if it had.
Well, that's what's kind of cool. It's leads to your book. If you hadn't gone on that adventure, you'd never be writing about this book.
Yeah,
And
I'd be writing some other book and it would be fine.
Yeah.
And-
No. This is the
Damn.
one. This is the one.
Damn.
This is the one you are meant for.
Why?
You're gonna get a lot of that over the next few months.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm ready. I agree. I agree entirely.
Yeah.
This is the only way it could have ever been gone. It's God foreseen. It's Jesus led us to this path. You know what I was laughing at?
Praise
Like,
Allah.
I was laughing at for a while. We were hanging out, right? Like every week or so, I was coming up to Whittier, and all
Oh,
three
yeah.
of us were hanging out, like pretty regularly. I don't know how long it lasted for.
Well,
16
hold
years.
on.
Seemed like a lot of time.
By hanging out, he means doing yoga and jiu-jitsu, not
Yeah.
like being friends.
Well, I mean, it was all kind of wrapped into one in my head, but yeah, you're right.
Oh no!
Well, we did some pretty intense things together.
No, oh yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And that was my
okay,
first.
He's my friend.
It was my
I'm
first time.
I'm joking.
Was it as good for you as it was for me?
It wasn't my first, but it was pretty.
I
Good.
just always think if three dudes are in a van with no pants on, we're pretty good friends.
Yeah.
But
And that happened.
Here's my point. Here's what I was getting at. But so
It
we're
did
doing this for a
happen.
while.
I had on my spats.
So we're doing this for a
Those aren't
while,
pants,
meeting
bro.
up, and it's been a while. Is my point. It's been a
Oh,
couple weeks
okay.
since we've done this,
Yeah,
and now
true.
that I'm back, both you guys are trying to get me paid, which I really appreciate. Like the only way you guys had to get me back was just
Offer him some fucking money.
just give me
and
some
Marshall
work.
comes on the show. Jesus Christ.
Make
Yeah,
my,
I know.
Making my debut. This is not an accident. This
No,
is
I mean, I think the way to make money and the way to grow anything and be successful is you gotta like the people you're employing and hanging. I mean, you're gonna be around them. You gotta trust them. So find some good people that you can hang out with without money, without anything else. I'm like, oh, why not? If I got some extra cash, throw some work your way or do whatever. But I think that's the way to do it, man. I can't imagine hiring someone I didn't know or didn't smoke with.
Yeah,
or
how'd that
didn't-
interview
didn't
process
roll
go?
right and didn't roll with. Like, do you even grapple like this? What happens if someone tries to steal my tires? Like, you know. So,
Just let you know, if someone tries to steal tires, they're getting the tires.
Yeah, no,
Like,
for
I'm
sure.
not,
We got
I'm not fighting
insurance,
this guy. I'm not fighting anyone.
people are like, what is he talking about? Yeah,
It's
no.
part of your job.
I'm not.
Yeah, that's you're gonna be carrying a pistol.
Throwing
These-
fists.
These are Forellis. Just kidding. No. But no, you know what I mean, though, right? Like I'd hang out with you guys even if there's no money involved, which most of the time there isn't. We're just chilling.
Yeah.
So that's
Our
pretty
friendship
cool.
started in pure ways. I yelled at you at a tournament, "Hey, let's do some yoga," and you're like, "Yeah!"
Pretty
it was
much.
like it was the first time. I thought that's how jiu-jitsu was. I thought just everyone was gonna be down for yoga, and then
And
we
then I
just chill in
saw
the
you-
van and blaze, and I don't know.
I saw you at Jits in the Park too, right?
Yeah,
In
that's
San
when we first
Diego?
met. You led
Okay.
the yoga. I nervously approached you afterwards.
Had you done yoga before?
Yeah. I'd been doing yoga like on my own for a couple years. So like I've been doing yoga every day more or less for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. But I've never been to a yoga studio. I've never.
beautiful.
I don't know any of the names of things. Like I don't know.
Good for you.
I looked up some Ashtanga stuff. I downloaded a video. I got through the first 15 minutes and then just repeated that. So I do sun salutations in the morning. That's
Okay.
the simplest. Anybody listening wants to get into yoga, do one fucking sun salutation. That's all you have to do. Like don't do an hour. Like don't sign up. Don't
Yeah,
pay
you're
anyone.
right, man. You're
don't
right.
pay anyone.
I-
Like I used to do yoga in Taipei. In my room, and in Taipei, the way the insulation works in houses, it's the same temperature inside and outside. a tropical island, so in the fall and the summer and the spring it's hot as fuck. And I'd heard hot yoga is a good thing, so I just closed my windows and I was doing yoga on tile. That's what I had in my room.
Yeah.
And I lasted 3 minutes, and then my hand slipped and I face planted on tile. Like that was, I didn't have a mat. I didn't have a mat. Didn't have any carpet.
That could be a death scene.
Yeah.
See?
Okay. Yeah. Exactly.
The guy's getting his head ready.
Let's mind my past. I came up with a couple more death scenes for you, Mark. Snakes are a big thing in Thailand.
Ooh,
so I think
it.
this dude in the story. I don't know if he even talked about it. I don't know if anyone listening. No one's listening.
No.
So this dude's gonna try to go fuck a white girl by the hot springs, and then he's gonna get bit by a snake.
That's what he gets.
That's one of the longer.
You're supposed to stay with your own kind, right?
Exactly. That's gonna be one of his dilemmas. Like,
Okay.
why don't I just get a Thai hooker? It's cheaper and easier.
and
These
that-
white girls are bigger.
That's what's interesting about. That's why I like it. It's like because you get to make a choice, but who knows if you're making the right choice or not? And then sometimes, like, is there any meaning behind it, or is it simply just left, right? So, no, man, that should be cool. I'm pumped that you're excited about it, and it makes it easy too. Oh, and I got back the official contract today. Have an attorney that actually, because Jen couldn't do it. She doesn't do this law.
Okay.
And we figured, I'm going to do a lot with this series. I was like, so
I'll be your guinea pig.
Yeah.
I'll file every lawsuit against you just to see how
good this
see
contract
where the
really
weak
was.
parts are.
Yeah. No.
Any publicity is good, man. You just gotta go for it.
Yeah,
Why not?
exactly.
We're gonna make a
Sue the shit out
racist
of
ass
them.
book.
Yeah, and then,
I'm gonna sue him over my racist ass book.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was seriously considering, and I still am, Try Not to Die as Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that would be a good book. And not to be, like, especially if you took, like, made it as historically accurate as possible.
A hard thing to do, man. There's a lot of
I was just gonna say.
a lot of aspects of that story.
Yeah.
A lot of disputes.
Yeah, exactly. But we could figure out, like,
Yeah.
a cool way to do it and to be respectful to that
we'll
story.
read 3 different Jesus books and come together with what we think and
Yeah.
then merge those. Because
I
I was telling you, man, my favorite Jesus book, one of my favorite books is the book Lamb, where it's his life, 13 to 30, the years not in the Bible. And it's just goofy as fuck. Like, he's looking for the 3 wise men. He goes, finds one in Afghanistan. That dude's just banging all these Chinese girls. He's like, dude, you gotta go to China. That's where the real wise man is. He goes to China, he learns Kung Fu, and then fucking learns how to meditate and meets a Yeti. And he goes to India and learns how to stop his heartbeat. That's how he goes on the cross and fakes his own death. It's great, man. It's so good.
That's,
the whole time he's just
Some
trying to
David Blaine shit.
He's just trying not to jerk
Oh,
off
what a
the whole
rookie.
time. Like, he's surrounded by consorts and it's like, no, like, I'm the son of God. I shouldn't be jizzing. Like, he's just very human.
I should read that. That's my wife's favorite book.
Lamb?
Or one of her favorites,
Really?
Yeah.
We have so much in common, me and her.
Yep. That's why I'm not going to
Fast
read it.
friends.
Yeah. No, that's
I
what
have
she
to read it
said.
now.
Because she said, she told me that too. She's like, you know what, the other day at the tournament, she's like, Marshall was so excited. She's like, I hadn't seen him like that before. He was always just quiet before.
Yeah.
She's like I was like, yeah, he's probably high.
Balance of life, yeah.
No. I said, you're just comfortable. You're in a good place.
And high,
Good.
I was.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the things, every time she's seen me, I've recently smoked. It's true.
Yeah.
But that's most of
Well,
the things I do now.
Hey, ditto.
Trito? Is that even a... Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying, man.
And she sees me all the time.
Yeah. How much did you smoke today, Mark? What'd you do? What was your first hit?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9
Hey,
o'clock.
bro. Mine was like around 9 o'clock this morning.
High five.
Yeah, well, what?
No, and I don't want to. It just helps, man. I was like, I just got rid of. Well, I didn't get rid of it, but I'm shifting gears. I was like, okay, the kids are at school where they're supposed to be. I did everything I need to do. Now I can concentrate on me, and whether that's yoga first or writing, meditating, whatever I'm gonna do. If I smoke first, that's gonna improve everything. It's gonna, like, I know that it's gonna open me up. It's gonna, whatever it does, it's awesome.
Is this a daily routine for you?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
You answered that
So-
like you were in court. Did you see his face? We don't have it on video, but great. That was
Yes,
like-
sir. Yes, honor. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. And I've proven to myself, like, because I sometimes worry. I'm like, is it a crutch? Do I really need it for my writing? I don't want to be dependent on anything. And then it's all take off like however many days. There was a point where I had to take off like 90 days. And
You had to?
I had to. Should have been longer, but
You getting tested?
I've been tested before.
Are these
And
fucking dogs barking at us?
they might be. It might be. Well,
Is it a race thing?
it could be the racing.
Is it?
There's a lot of dogs that just don't trust.
And Yeah.
black and
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Right?
I don't.
I was like, that's how I train my dogs.
It's the only way.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, all the way, bro.
All right.
Yeah. So
I mean,
Marshall's like, I'm just.
I have no opinion on the matter.
Yep.
yeah, we'll cut out.
As an employee,
No,
I do
we
not speak
won't.
for my boss.
No, we
I'll leave it.
No, you won't.
Have you ever edited out a podcast? Do you do that?
Oh, I used to. Yeah,
Really?
and
Until
I still do. Like I'll listen to it because sometimes I'm like, maybe my daughter's gonna listen. Maybe
Your daughter's
whatever.
never gonna listen to
I
you.
know.
She doesn't want to hear your voice.
Oh, she does. She wants to.
What are you
actually,
talking about?
Actually, they want to be on it tonight. They wanted to.
Oh yeah, they want to be.
They
They
were
want to
super
sit here
excited 'cause you were
recording,
coming
but they're not
over.
gonna click the link and find the. No child wants to hear their parent. Like I don't want to hear my dad's voice.
Yeah,
Do you? Like-
I wouldn't, but I'm super cool. Though.
Mark, I was just gonna say Mark thinks he's super cool, so
Yeah.
they're gonna want to listen.
Mark is super cool.
Yeah,
Not
that's
think.
why we're fucking buddies.
No, I know.
No, but I get you. You never know when this is gonna pop up again, and it
Right.
can. It's all digital. It's all out there, so I get it.
Right.
Yeah, because I think of it both ways. I think of it like paradoxically, like. On one hand, nobody's going to hear it.
Right.
Like my grandma doesn't know how to play a podcast.
Right.
Like my dad has listened to one podcast in his life and he brings it up twice a day. Like he's not listening to another one. But one thing I learned from this porn documentary I watched, it was very interesting. This gay porn star, he's not a gay man, but he's a gay porn star. And he was saying the mentality to have is as if everybody's going to hear it. He
Or
says
see
see
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in his instance, it's see his video. In our instance, it's hear our voice. So talk as if, be that comfortable with it, but realistically, who the fuck listens? Like no one that I care about. Like
Not my mom,
And
not-
And by care about, I mean like
Yeah.
I don't want them to hear it.
Yeah.
Dude.
Anybody actually listening, I do care that you exist and I love you. And
Millions of
you'll
listeners
hang
we
out,
have,
but
man. Come on, dude, you're dissing our crowd.
I just
with you,
misspoke.
bro.
No,
my
you're good.
my English is not my first language.
No, you're totally right.
German.
Yeah, I stopped listening like 3 minutes ago.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. If Mark can't listen, like why would I be censoring myself? If I can't get my friends to listen.
How often do you do that when you're talking to someone? Like I know I do it all the fucking time. Where you're just waiting for them to stop talking so you can say what you wanted to say.
It depends on who the fuck you're talking
Right?
to. Because there's some people where you're just like, you can't listen to what they're saying. There's some people that you respect and you kind of want.
You
or
want to
care
have a back
about,
and forth.
Or a back and forth with, you know. But there are some people where you're just looking at them and, when are you going to be done?
Wow, you're kind of an asshole. I just asked if that happens. That does not happen to me.
Yeah, no.
I enjoy talking
I tried
to people.
to get that out of my life. I tried to be in situations where I could just walk away. Like, if you guys were just started being really creepy to me, I could just be like, hey, no, I got.
Well, how creepy do we
I
got
could
to
just
get?
run this way. Like, I see my exit. Like, you have a lot more wiggle room. Like, you haven't crossed line let. But I'm just saying, like,
So
even at jujitsu, you can just fucking do a handstand and walk away on anyone. Like, I feel like that's a good place you can do. If you just hit a cartwheel, like, they're done talking. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's a mat, there's space.
Just exit
like it.
left.
At a comedy show or a bar, it's like I gotta take a shit, man. I'm out.
Oh,
and
man.
then I'm just saying these are like the examples of my
I like
life.
your style.
Offices are harder.
I got to take a shit, guys. I'm back.
Yeah, exactly. No one's gonna be like, do you really?
Yeah,
Is it because of
that's
the and people aren't that like self-aware? Like not many people have
A
the
lot of
awareness
people
of like
aren't.
what even they're talking about. Like if you say I have to go shit and come back and say what was the last thing you said, there's no way they were standing there the whole time like, God, Mark doesn't want to hear about my mom. She is so important. God damn it, Mark. Like it's
That's true.
it's usually people don't think that much.
Man, people are like people who just talk out loud on their cell phone in public, whether it be in an office or outside. Like everyone wants to hear your fucking conversation.
That drives
I
me
got today.
nuts.
I was waiting for a signature today, and this guy's just on his phone, just loud in the waiting room. I'm like, dude, what?
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to wait there for anything. I just got to get a signature. I feel bad for these people sitting here for an appointment. Jesus Christ, and he's going off
So what did you assume about him from that?
that he needed attention. I don't know.
Is that what it is?
Don't
too?
Because everyone was looking, and
Yeah,
I mean,
'cause
I heard him. And
Yeah, because that's what I would be wondering. I'm like, is he just being inconsiderate? Does he have maybe no idea? Is he just like so angry? It's like, yeah, because I can't believe people do that.
But the thing is, I don't remember what he was saying. It was
Right.
just, I just remember a loud noise coming out of his fucking mouth, and
Should have punched him. No,
Punched him right in
you
the
should
face.
have.
That's not funny, Mark.
You should have choked him.
No, I should have kissed him between his forehead, said, "I see you, brother, and I love you."
That's what you should have done.
You know,
You should have.
or I should have given him a hug.
Yeah, you should have given him a hug. That's what I was gonna say.
With my overalls and steel toe boots on, just
Oh.
come here, son. Yeah.
There'd be few men that could resist that.
Dude,
like, you know, it's like
if I do that
I'm like,
next
"You know what?
time, I'll record
I'm gonna
it."
whisper from now on. When I'm on the
Bro.
phone, I'm always gonna whisper.
You have the perfect pockets for just recording your
Oh,
whole
I
life.
know, dude.
Like
It
those are
fits
so.
right there.
I'm sitting here admiring the utility
It's
of your
right
overalls.
there.
Yeah.
I'm so
thank
jealous.
you. It's Carhartt, by the way. Yeah, I love it.
'Cause I tried
Yeah,
to.
the
I
pants.
walk in and the
I like the
babysitter
pants.
goes, "Ooh, I like your overalls." I look down, I'm fucking work overalls. I guess they're in style, so I'm cool.
That's
Yes,
cool.
definitely.
That's
Like,
cool.
they're nice color.
I
They
heard
look
Drake wears overalls.
I didn't know
who's-
that.
Is he's Canadian? Are you Canadian?
new. No.
I thought you were. I thought you were German. Canadian. No?
I'm
It's
from
like the
Southern
same thing.
California.
It's all-
True.
Now that we've got all that figured out, we're back.
I don't know what just happened.
Were we ever gone? Like.
I was. I had to go get batteries.
Oh yeah.
You guys
we
stayed
missed you.
here.
So what's on the agenda? Even agenda for this podcast, Mark?
No. This is just our pre-jiu-jitsu podcast. So
Free of anything discriminatory or
That's cool.
controversial.
you're gonna be able to make it tonight, right? That's
Yeah,
why you
yeah.
came down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do
Oh,
some jiu-jitsu
man.
with you guys. Are you guys
Yeah,
coaching? What's
we're-
going on?
He is.
Yeah?
Anthony's the coach.
I
Nice,
guess that's what you
dude.
call it.
He's
Nice.
yeah, that's
Nope.
awesome.
I just show up and start talking, and whoever gathers around, and that's
He
cool.
doesn't want to be the coach, but he's the coach.
Okay.
I-
Best reason to be a coach.
We learned some good leg stuff last week. Starting to get it.
Okay.
Trying to figure that out. So, but yeah, and some yoga. Last time we didn't have much yoga. I was a little disappointed in that, but whatever. I'm not a coach, so
Hey, I feel you on that one. I actually wanted to do some more, but we had some brand new people, so
yeah. No, I think it's cool, and I think just when people walk into that, when they see everyone else doing it, they're like, okay. I was like, I guess this is what we do. This
Yeah.
is jiu-jitsu, or who knows. But yeah, man, I did. Fucking boring.
Oh my God, you always do that, dude.
No, you know what? No,
He
you know
Free
always
what?
does
censor.
that.
So much
Well,
censorship.
Well, I
No,
have
he
to.
just stops.
I have to because I was about to say I was gonna talk about yoga being like martial arts. I was like, but there's no need to. And the way I was gonna the story I was gonna okay. So here we go. Let's talk about yoga being like martial arts.
It totally is.
Yeah, totally. Look, and Anthony agrees. No, it was about I was able to get really low in is it called martial artist pose? I don't know.
Oh,
the one-
warrior?
No, not that one. Where you're all the way down, like with your leg extended.
Savasana Nandra.
So, like some people might have to put their hands down. But
Oh,
if you
with
could
our
hold
butt
it up.
low to the mat?
Yeah.
Shit. Is it war? I don't know.
I don't know. I think he called it martial artist, like or just something like
Cool,
that, like
cool.
not the real name.
Yeah.
But
But you almost got it down to the floor,
yeah,
right?
that's yes, exactly. Yeah, really low.
Chopping that ass.
Wow.
Dropping it.
Dropping.
So, but I was just thinking how much that helps for jiu-jitsu and just
Yeah.
any martial art. And then there was an article today too on just how much yoga is used for like all martial arts.
It's just so
important.
basic that
Yeah.
it just works with everything. I mean, it's not to sit here and say that it's magic, it's this, it's so mystical. It's just simple, basic stretches. And when you do them in a row and when you breathe properly, crazy things happen. It's just simple.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be yoga. It's like
People get runner's high,
body movement,
Yeah.
whatever it
As long as you
is.
try to correlate breathing to it, that's like your prana. That's it.
Yep, y'all. So what's up?
Marshall's just still reading the.
Did you find any other lines on there you liked?
I mean, I stopped looking at them.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
that
all
was
too
good.
much.
They're all pretty funny.
All right. So, do you think that what kind of audience would maybe appreciate that?
So this one says,
People in the airplane above us.
if masturbating's so wrong, why'd God give me two hands? That would make sense for people with huge penises who masturbate with two hands. I don't understand.
Or
the
what if you
joke.
switch hit?
Yeah.
Do you?
Kind of
Yeah.
mix it up.
Okay.
I mean, what are we talking here? Are we talking knuckles? Are we talking whole grip?
I'm just saying, like, I usually one hand's sufficient.
Did I have a rough day that day?
I don't like rap, but NWA said it best. Is this a police reference? Okay, I like it. Would that only come up if you pointed at police? Is it the technology that good?
No.
Okay.
No, it's whoever you're pointing it at. It's reading their thoughts.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
So, okay, gotcha. Got it.
Coffee is such a very sad version of crack. It's pretty funny. Pretty true.
Okay.
It's like crack, but with anxiety. It's it doesn't last, or it lasts way longer, but it's not worth it. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, keep practicing.
We're going to find it, guys. We're going to over here.
Live on the air.
No, that might have been it. I wasn't really listening.
Mark, what's up with you inviting people to podcasts and not listening to them?
I don't know.
No. Has this always been a thing for you?
No, I'm joking. I've been listening. I really have.
No, I'm just saying I see it in your eyes. Like, you're clearly not here. This is,
Mark's usually the one leading the interviews. I don't know. He must not vibe with our guest or something.
Is it like a sleep thing, or you just always no one for eye contact?
Well, you know what it is? It's probably I didn't have enough sugar today.
You had significantly less sugar.
And I didn't do my yoga. I didn't do my breathing.
Okay.
I'm not right.
Did you check your insulin
No,
levels?
you know what it is? And maybe that is part of it, because I had a hard time even just dealing with the kids tonight.
Yeah.
I was like, they're just going nuts, and I was trying to work, and my computer crashed today too. That
Best
sucked.
birth control ever.
Yeah.
Just
No.
watching her dad with the kids. Dude, just like, fuck this job.
Dude, I've been putting off returning my computer for like the last. Ask Jen; she'll probably tell you it's been like 3 or 4 months, and it continues to crash. But I'll fix it. I'm like, okay. I don't want to change computers, and so I crashed it today. So I spent the first 2 hours doing that, but alternating between fixing my computer and playing guitar, so I can't complain. I was like,
First world. Beautiful. I love
good.
it.
I
love
it.
it.
Good prompt. So, I guess I really have no reason not to be completely present right now.
But the entire process, were you breathing, or were you just panicking?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
Because it's fair either way. Like, it happens.
Yeah.
I said I did a lot of panicking today for no reason.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you were dealing with mechanics and stuff like that, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, I had my car at the thing. I thought I've never. I'm so like inexperienced with life, man. I was out of the country when like people started making big purchases. The first time I spent like a couple $100s on a card, even. And so I was like, does that even work? Would the universe allow me to just like a couple $100s? Like, oh my god, is this? I don't know. This is legal. Like, I don't know. And all these dumb things. I didn't know how long it would take to get up here. It was a 2-hour. It ended up being a 2-hour drive of Google taking me on side streets. I went through all the hoods that I've ever heard of. Like, it was it was fun. It was interesting, but all these moments, I wasn't doing too good at breathing today.
Wow.
And I noticed that even once I'm here, like I'm waiting on my buddy. He was a bartender at the Yoast. I might be going to a concert tonight. At which point I'm after Jitsu, and I gotta go shower, and then I gotta take my drugs of somewhere. What drugs should I even take? Because I can't go there sober. I'm gonna be too tired. Like I was up at 8 a.m. at the mechanic. All these dumb things that just it's gonna keep happening. It's like Joey Diaz is saying on the podcast over here. There's always a fire to put out. And I'm sure you see this. Like it sounds like you had a day full of fires.
Yeah,
as most days are. Like I think that's just the way it is.
Yeah. No, that's one of the things I think probably impressed me the most about you. I don't know. Your jiu-jitsu is pretty good. But,
thanks, man.
Yeah. No, his jiu-jitsu is way better than mine. I'll give him that. No, there's something else that impressed me. It was something about you.
Size of his.
Damn it! I know. I was like, I didn't want to go there with that. What the fuck were we talking about?
It was something about size, bro. I'm telling you.
No, it wasn't size.
Talking about breathing, and I don't know
no.
You're about to say
no. For how young you are, for being so young and being so like such a deep thinker. You know that you do tons of self-reflection and meditation and all of that, and that's impressive because I don't think there are a lot of people that your age that are doing that.
Totally agree.
You know, and especially like my age, like shit. I'm starting to try to get there right now. Like I'm seeing the importance now where I haven't done that, all my life. I don't want to look at myself. So
luckily for us, man, like meditating, breathing, these are all things you can do at any moment. Like there's no, like even with jiu-jitsu, you say like anyone could be doing it, but some people are like, my leg's fucked up, and they have all these. Meditating is less excuses than jiu-jitsu. Totally. Like you can, it's never too late. But I just got very lucky, man. Like in college, my professor, she was a Zen sensei, and I didn't know that about her until I was taking like 3 or 4 classes with her. And so she started telling me all these retreats I could go on, and we started meditating. She showed me some shit and sent me some books. And so these retreats I go on, every single person is 2 to 3 times my age. it's usually like a retirement thing, or like I do this thinking that my kids will do it, but they're crazy, and it's all wives and retired doctors, and
Nice.
it's
Good
interesting.
company.
I love it, man. I got no problems with it. It's very quiet. A lot of places aren't quiet.
What did it? Do you feel like you needed it? Like, what did it give you? Were you at a different place, like dealing with stuff?
And
Yeah. So it's just a lot of anxiety, and I just recently learned what it is like in the brain physically. So I'm about to butcher some neuroscience because I just learned it. It's the prefrontal cortex. That's where your sense of self and time is, and that's where anxiety stems from. Is your sense of self being wrapped up with your sense of time. I have to be here later is always a sense of anxiety. I'm not doing what I should at this.
So I realized
you were
lost 30 seconds of that, maybe a minute. I didn't want to cut it off. And that beat came
This
noise.
has been full of.
No, dude, I have the worst mic, and I accidentally hit this button, and I was
Fair,
really upset
fair.
that I did it. So, and it was such a good description.
So maybe I can answer your question better. Less anxiety, less depression. I can pull myself out of things easier because I see how things are going, and it makes me give other people a lot more like room for error. You know what I mean? Like, I know how fucked up my head is, and I've had a pretty good life. Like, I know how fucked up it is, and like other
That's
people
great.
had harder stuff. But this is a thing that I learned. So right when I started meditating is right when I took acid for the first time.
Okay.
And so I've told the story on my podcast before, but when I was learning those same things, there's so much overlapping between my first experience on acid, looking at these cliffs and Sunset Cliffs in San Diego, where I had this deep insight, and I learned it in my Buddhism class the next week. Like, she put it into words. And obviously we hadn't talked. I'm not telling my teachers I'm doing acid. Like, none of that. And so those two things just kind of wrapped into one. And what I just learned is that, like, every person, you see them as they are now, but you can't see how they got here. In the same way, when you're walking on the beach, you see water on the beach. You don't know if it came from the ocean or rainwater. But if you look up at the cliffs, you can see the erosions. You can see exactly how a lot of water has gone through there. And sometimes it doesn't make sense. It's like it's all fucked up, and you walk over here and you realize because there's a big rock in the way. And okay, yeah, water can't go through the rock, so it went down this way. In the same way, when you're with someone, the better you know them, the better you can explain their actions, right? Like, if we're hanging out and we've been smoking some weed and you fall asleep, that's not so crazy, you know what I mean? Weed makes you tired, and we did some jiu-jitsu earlier. But if we're hanging out and you stab someone, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where did this come from? And then I find out...
You don't know me very well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I find out that you saw your mom stab your dad when you were fucking 7, and then someone stabbed you, and then it's a recurring theme in your life that I was unaware of. And so every person has these things. Every person has these erosion paths. Everyone's a result of their own trauma, wherever minor it may have been. You know, because I use the word trauma for, like, everybody. Like, everyone's been traumatized and everything in some way.
Yeah.
Maybe not an extreme one. Like, obviously rape and violence are, like, terrible extreme versions, but everyone has their own, like...
Yeah. No,
just being sad is traumatizing enough. Like, any negative or even, I guess, positive stuff in some way.
Yeah, no, I think that's one of the things I realized, because I always wanted to know what the fuck was wrong with me for having this fucked up mind, and feeling these whatever things, but feeling like I was the only one too.
Yeah.
But god damn,
You know what? It's too much weed for you. That's what
you
it
think
is.
it is?
That's what it is. Dude, we just hit it. That's it.
Okay.
No, I didn't hit it. That's what it was. I think you guys packed a bowl and I didn't get any.
Would you like something that's more?
I
Like, I see a big...
Don't know.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit out of this. You guys talk.
I'm seeing
Okay,
a correlation between Mark
It could be.
hitting some bud.
Yeah, could be.
No, but being like having a fucked up mind. I think especially like males. I mean, my brothers, like, guys are fucking crazy.
Right.
We're all horn dogs, and we all want to fight. Especially like you said, the erosion patterns in our life. Whether it's your daddy, your mommy, your uncle, someone punched you in the face at this age.
Yeah.
Dude, if little boys don't learn how to just control that at a young age, that's why we do all the stupid shit that we do most of the time, right? I mean, all the dumb shit I did, I remember I was just horned up, angry probably, and confused, so...
You take that person, stick them in an office for 10 years. They're gonna do some erratic shit. Like, I went to a big party with my friends on Saturday, and like I took a hit of acid myself. So I'm not here to judge, but they were like going like so excited for every drug, and as soon as they did it, they had to give a review. Like, man, the ecstasy's bullshit. I don't even feel it. Give me that. They're just going wild, and it was so interesting for me to watch. Like, they had so much anxiety that they thought was gonna get solved just at this, and I kept thinking, like, what were they doing before this? Like, why? Like, because I had a great day. Like, I was meditating and I did yoga and I did jitsu, and I don't have any of this. That's fucking pent up things. I can see, you can see someone's eyes. Like, they've had a rough
had a rough day, a rough go. You never know how close they are. You don't want to push them over.
But it's just so interesting to watch. Like, I haven't seen these friends in a while because I've been moving around. Like, I was out of the country for a while. I moved down to San Diego for college. These are friends from high school. We've been in and out of each other's lives. I don't know what the fuck's going on that makes them. The only fun they had is at 3 a.m. they did a line of cocaine and said, "Oh, finally the night's good." I was like, "What?" Like, we've been hanging out since like 10. We went to a dubstep show. Like,
fuck me, right? Jesus.
And it's just so interesting. Like, I don't know what their erosion pattern is, but it's something. It's whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. Whatever you got to do, man. It's not me. They always offer me cocaine, and I always kind of assume at some point I'll do it with them, but it just hasn't happened.
I don't recommend it. Yeah, no, that's something I won't touch again.
How often did you touch it though? Was it a recurring thing for you?
I did a lot during college. Well, not a lot, but more than I wish I had.
Like every week.
I enjoyed it. It came. I think it might have only been my junior year or my senior. I think it was my senior year, and then it went kind of heavy. When we did it, like whenever it was around, people wouldn't want to do it. Yeah. So it'd be like every weekend for sure. And it
was with the guys you live with.
Yeah, but then one of my buddies got addicted, and then he ended up blowing his brains out. So I was like,
under the influence of cocaine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So yeah,
and how old were you?
That I didn't even realize how badly that affected me until I did a writing exercise. Like that's one of the reasons I love writing. Oh. But I wrote, that was an incident I wrote about in this writing exercise, something that had happened like 12 years before. Now it's a lot longer. But writing about it made me realize how much guilt I had over this thing that seemed like it was like so little for me. It's like, I've had a good life. Why am I thinking these things? Yeah. But I was like, that one little incident is like, that really affected me.
Trauma.
So yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't take much. And dude, even I realize that with my kids, I'm so aware of that with my kids, like, just looking at them the wrong way, dude.
Yeah.
Like if I get an angry face, like I'm already so much bigger than them, and if I raise my voice, like I don't have to hit them to scar them.
Yeah.
Like I just yell at them. I could say something really mean. I was like, that's fucking, that's the kind of shit that stays with them. I was like, and I told them, I was like, man, I said, I have I was like, I have an anger problem, and not with them, and they don't see it, so they probably see it like every once in a while. But I told them, I was like, man, that's not how I want you guys to see me. I was like, and so I'll always apologize too if I do it. I was like, just tell them, hey, I got to work on it. I got to work on it with breathing and whatever else. You guys deserve better. You don't deserve, never let anyone talk to you, whatever. Just respect yourself.
Yeah, that part right there, man, that's amazing.
Yeah. We were talking earlier though, because I was here earlier. Jake was being a little naughty boy like little boys do, and I just remember when we started chatting about how often we would get the belt.
Oh yeah.
Or how often we would get the switch or whatever it was, and
used to get beat all the time.
Dude, because I can't say I don't have an anger problem. I mean, I think a lot of guys, if they're honest, I mean, unless they're freaking meditating often and doing awesome things, and it's hard to say not, as a young man that you don't have an anger problem, especially if you're in traffic or something crazy. So, man, noticing it, the earlier you notice it, the earlier you're more self-aware. Mm-hmm. I think, dude. And I think physical exertion, people will need to just get the fuck out there and move.
Mm-hmm.
Because for boys especially, I know I keep going back to boys, but we're just bottled up energy. Well, you need to release that shit.
Dude, I told you I'm slowly reading that book, The Anatomy of Violence. Mm-hmm. But the part I just read is because I'm already thinking the damage we've had to our heads is probably definitely influenced me, especially because I got concussions at a young age.
From fighting?
No. Football real bad, and then fighting later. But even, like as a young kid, I hit my head, and I just knocked out a couple times. But low heart rate is like a huge indicator that someone's going to be violent or antisocial. It's like it's one of the best predictors there is. So it's like if you have a 3-year-old preschool kid that has very low a low heart rate, he's probably gonna, well, maybe not probably, but there's a good chance that he's going to go on to become a criminal and just antisocial behavior and everything else, be more aggressive.
So when they say antisocial, they don't just mean introverted, they mean violent?
Yeah, probably going to do violence or do crime. You probably have I don't know if it affects your morals or not. I haven't read that closely yet. But
it's worth looking into. That sounds a little too simple.
Oh no, and that's what they were saying. That's what they were saying. Like it can't be this simple.
Yeah.
But they said the correlation between that is way stronger than even lung cancer and smoking.
Interesting.
Yeah, so the strength of that's like their one finding. Like they did all these studies and all the studies are showing this.
Wow.
And so it's pretty crazy. And that's just like that's only the second factor I'm really reading about. Is like there's going to be so many other biological components. Like okay, maybe that's why I was a little bit more aggressive, or maybe that's why I've been thinking about death since whatever, or maybe that's why I have this anxiety. So I was like, I think that helps. And then you learn these techniques to deal with them. The breathing and smoking and pills or whatever it is.
Yeah, just give a little preschooler some fucking joints and say, inhale deeply, kid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we should.
That's
that one. Sorry, don't tell kids not to do that.
Yeah.
But anyway, no. That's crazy, man. Because you asked me that earlier, and I was like, right now, yeah, I think so. I'm in good shape. I feel pretty good. I should have a low resting heart rate, but no. So, so are you thinking 3 to 5 years old? That's when you test these kids? And
all the kids, they were like long-term studies, and they were testing them at 3 and then again at 11, and then like oftentimes the kid with the lowest heart rate turns out to be a psychopath, and just nuts.
Wow.
So
who's the author?
I forget.
That's it.
Yep, I'll mention it at the end. It's a good book though. Just type in the anatomy of violence. And it's super interesting.
I think I heard Brian Callen talking about reading that book.
Probably, it's a really good book.
I don't think Brian Callen reads books. I've never heard.
Yeah,
him,
I've never. You know what? I think you're right. I think you're right. I heard he's poorly
if he
read.
has, he should start talking about
He's poorly read. And
dude, so
speaking of poorly read, Mark Tullius. What books can you recommend to me, man? What got you here? Stephen King? Is that all it was?
That was a lot of the dark stuff, but I like Chuck Palahniuk. Fight Club.
Fight Club's only one of his books I've read.
Yeah, you should read the other ones. They're awesome. Even some of his short stories are really good. Like they'll stay with you, and I think that's what I like to try to capture. Is I think that's probably what it is, and because his writing is pretty dark, and his mentor is the one I ended up being like referred to, and he's perfect, and I credit him with whatever decent writing I can do.
Cool.
Yep. So
these are bonded by lineage.
Exactly.
You know what I read that fucked me up this weekend, Mark? Is I read Aldous Huxley's Brave New World.
Was it any good?
Dude, this is the second time I've read it, and it literally fucked me up. I went to that concert on Saturday, and I just looking at these people like everyone's a result of their own conditioning. That's what the whole book is about, like a whole conditioned society. They talk to kids when they're sleeping, like, hey, have sex with everybody. No one belongs to anybody. They've eradicated marriage because it causes problems. They've eradicated parents. Everyone's a test tube baby. It's very interesting, man. Yeah. And like everyone in the book sucks. Like it's like there's no hero. Like there's no one's like figured it out. Like no one. See, it's amazing, man.
And I know.
Fuck me up.
I know I've read it, and I know it probably. I think it definitely influenced. It probably influenced me too. Like with 25 Perfect Days, I think that definitely did.
You should check it back once now that you've known a little more about psychedelia in your younger years, because it's a lot of that. Everyone in the society is issued a drug at the end of their workday. Like as soon as you come out, like before you get on the train, you get your little ration, and it just knocks you out. It's like acid, but you can sleep, but you can't move, but that kind of euphoria, and then you just wake up and you're fine. They've taken all the drugs and just married them together.
Sign me up.
And so that's exactly. And so that's what everyone's saying. Like, why are you worried about anything? We have the best drug ever. Yeah. And that's what a lot of it comes down to. Like a lot of their arguments. And the dude's trying to get race philosophy. Like, but why? But what else is there? Like, what are you talking about, man? Our movies jerk you off when you watch them. Like, it's great.
So what would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah.
Exactly what I was conditioned to do. What do you mean? That's all you can do. Like, that's the only option. Like in the same way that I can't just like stop thinking in English, or I can't like just stop thinking all my thoughts in America. It's too late.
Well, no, but what about at this moment? So is that going to be? Let's say that's our future in 50 years.
But it already is, man, in its own way.
Well, yeah. So let's say it's going to continue. But do you think you could be aware at this point and be like, no, I'm not going to go down that path? I would say no this whole time because I know.
In certain ways, but not in as many as I think we would all like to think.
Yeah.
You know, like in some, like I don't watch as much TV as most people, but I have a Netflix account.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't use it as much as people seem to think I should, but I'm there. I like it. I see the whole point.
Yeah.
You know, I smoke weed when people are smoking weed around me. Like, I wish I was above that, but I'm not. Like, I wish I drink when people are drinking. Like, I wish I was above. You know what I mean? There's all these things that we're just, like, societally conditioned to do. Like, copy the people around you. That's how you learn things. That's the only option when you're a child. Like, to be a rebel from the beginning wouldn't even make sense. Like, what, you don't learn English? Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, you don't. Everyone's trying to fit in their own way, and that's what I was saying about the erosion earlier. That's a big part of it. Like a fucked up thing that Duncan Trussell told me on a podcast. Told me.
I feel like
I heard him say into my headphones, romantically, was like, how many things in our life like are just a result of something you thought was cool when you're 7. Like that's so possible. Like one thing I realized recently, man, is like I've been living with my parents for the past couple months, and my roommate is one of my best friends from childhood. He moved in. My brother doesn't live at the house anymore, and so what I've done is I've constructed my perfect life from when I was 15. Like my brother's not there; it's my best friend instead. I smoke weed in the backyard, and mom doesn't even yell at me, and like all these things. Like I've done it. Like I've achieved it. I wake up in the morning. I do jujitsu. I go to comedy at nighttime. There's fucking Kung Pao chicken in the fridge. Like it's
basic bachelor. Yeah, I like
and
it.
so one thing I've realized that like it's not that cool. Like all these dreams that I had when I was young was just because I was young. Like what the fuck did I know?
Oh yeah, man.
Like what? Like,
Mark's like, yeah, you fucking idiot. Of course. Wait till you get.
Wait till you know you're about to die.
Is that how you feel?
You're like, oh yeah.
How close are you to death,
like,
Mark?
I don't know. Maybe possibly 2 hours.
Okay.
Maybe 3. Maybe it's the drive home today.
Have you been reading the Marcus Aurelius book I gave you?
I've gone through the introduction.
Okay.
But it already led me to an article I printed up that I'm going to read about that guy that was captured, and he was a POW in Vietnam for however many years, but they tortured him, but he believed in stoicism. Cool. And that's what got him through it. So
the reason I brought it up, man, is one thing you'll notice is most of the things start because I read a section every day. It's written like the Bible, like a little short passages, and so I read one a day, and a lot of them are like, "You're gonna die. What are you gonna do about it?"
Yeah, I think
you're gonna cry. No, you're gonna go to work. You're gonna be the best man you can, because that's all you can do. And he lays that out in different ways. Like one of the most famous ones is, if there is a God and he judges you unfairly, why would you want to please that guy?
Yeah.
You should just be good anyway, because even if there's not a God, at least you were good.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like no matter which way you take it, like you should still be a good person.
Right.
Because you're gonna die is no reason to get scared and fucking crash your car and yell at your kids. Like, you know, like there's all these things, all these offshoots of fear of death.
That's cool.
And that's what I see a lot of those people that all my friends snorting cocaine at 3 a.m. in cars. Yeah. Like after the party, like. There's a lot of fear of death involved. Yeah. Either for themselves, their parents, the people they're with. And fear of death, that manifests in relationships. You don't want to break up with someone because that's a little death. You don't want to be embarrassed because that's a little death. You don't want to look dumb. You don't want to ramble on someone else's podcast because it's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's true.
Shit that you don't even know about.
Yeah.
Rambling up to some older men about death. Like some sort of expert. You don't want to do that ever.
But we saw death. I was cool with death after we did our little DMT experience, our Chonga experience.
Exactly. So that's what they say, one of the benefits of it.
Yeah.
That's probably what it feels like to die. How great is that?
On the Chonga note, we got to get to class, but
that's true.
Everyone go out and do it. I think that the younger generation is highly involved in psychedelics, and I think it's beautiful because the old generation, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
If you can't find some drugs, start breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. I'll recommend that.
With or without drugs, start breathing.
I like it.
Okay. All right, so we're going to wrap things up. Marshall, thank you very much for enlightening us. We'll end with a short story. Don't know what it is, but we will figure that out. I know you guys will enjoy it. Later.
Out.
The Artist. The artist climbed the final flight of stairs, opened the door, and then locked it behind her. Today would be a busy day, just like every other one, and she couldn't be bothered while she was at work. She climbed onto the swivel stool in the middle of the tiny room and turned toward the north-facing window with the easel directly beneath it. After placing a blank canvas on the easel, she looked out the window, admiring the beautiful nothingness before her. With remarkable speed, she painted the T intersection where Main Street ran into West Oak Avenue. A few moments later, a row of beautiful trees lined the east side of the road. Their shade spread across the blacktop. The artist sat up and looked out the window, pleased. The deserted streets miles below her were exactly as she had rendered them on the canvas. Afraid she'd lose her inspiration, the artist brushed a peaceful morning sky, then an elderly couple on Main Street walking hand in hand, appreciating the beautiful sun, each of them aware they only had a limited amount of time left, enjoying every passing moment. On the other side of the street, nearing the intersection, a young mother pushed a bright red stroller and smiled down at her infant daughter, staring in wonder at the balloon frozen in the sky. Knowing the people were outside the window just as she had drawn them, the artist continued. With a few strokes of her brush, she painted an 18-year-old boy on his father's Harley out for a leisurely ride. One day, God willing, he would have a bike of his own, and a loving son he could lend it to. A few strokes later, she'd painted a yellow bus full of elementary school honor roll students. The PTA had rewarded them with a day of fun at the beach. Laughter floated through the bus as the kids celebrated a Sunday free from homework, chores, church, and other obligations. They worked so hard every day, and now they finally had a chance to just be kids. The artist set the painting against the wall and looked out the window. Her creation slowly came to life. The elderly couple sat on the bench. The school bus headed toward the stoplight. Time inched by so she could enjoy every expression, appreciate every emotion of the children pressing their faces to the windows. The driver tapped the brakes. The biker held up his hand and waved at the elderly couple who were friends of his grandmother. The mother now stopped at the corner, waiting patiently for the walk signal, bent down and smoothed her daughter's fine blonde hair. Panic didn't set in on the bus driver's face until the third time he tried the brakes. He had no way of knowing the cable had snapped after years of use and poor maintenance, but he did know he was just a few feet from the intersection and the motorcycle that had just entered it. Even from way up in her tower, the artist heard the blaring horn. The biker brought his hand back to the handlebars and tried to swerve out of the way. It wasn't due to the lack of skill or slow reaction, but the bus struck the tail end of his bike. He flipped over the front wheel. The bus driver jerked the wheel to the right, losing control of the vehicle. Young screams pierced the crisp morning air as the bus rushed towards the row of trees. At the exact moment the biker sailed into the stroller, the bus wrapped its front end around the trunk of a tall oak. The engine slammed back into the main compartment, severing the driver's legs and pinning him into the seat as tiny bodies flew past him, smashing into and through the windshield. The artist studied the smoldering wreckage. She cringed at the pained, confused expression of the biker who broke his back against the light post, completely unaware of the mother screaming at him to get off her baby. She counted the little bodies hanging from the bus windows and smashed against the tall tree. She breathed in the familiar scent of gasoline and watched as sparks ignited the back of the bus, trapping the survivors in an inferno. The elderly woman stood in horror, torn between helping the children or her husband of 52 years, lying on the sidewalk, suffering a massive heart attack. Discouraged with her first attempt, the artist turned to the eastern window and contemplated the nothingness, wondering what she should fill it with. After a few moments, she sat back on her stool and designed an elaborate amusement park. What would take others years, she painted in seconds, each calculation precise, every angle exact. The brilliance behind its design was evident as she looked out the window and admired its grandness. An amusement park without visitors to enjoy it was the equivalent of a perfect snowflake melting before anyone could see it. Quickly, she moved the brush across the canvas, leaving thousands of bodies in its wake. Eighth graders raised their hands and screamed as they rushed down the steep descents of a roller coaster, while their older brothers and sisters became better acquainted with the Ferris wheel. Parents in line for the log flume gave their children their first taste of cotton candy. The lines weren't too long, and the weather was just right. She had just created the perfect day. The artist stood at the window and watched parents pull their babies off the carousel and then down beer after beer. She heard the loud crack come from the roller coaster snaking and looping through the entire park. The first car, occupied by a 5-year-old redhead and his father, had just reached the crest of the 10-story climb, about to race down the decline in order to build enough speed to complete the 2 corkscrews. The father heard the crack as the car began its descent, pulling the rest of the train with it. When the final car passed the crest, the train zoomed toward the corkscrews. Every passenger raised their arms and screamed as they plummeted. The broken coupling connecting the first car to the second held halfway through the first twist. When it gave, the first car shot off the tracks and headed for the lake 50 yards away. The little boy hadn't even realized they had left the track until his father's arms were severed by an electric wire. Both father and son died on impact, so they didn't see the wire fall into the brown building that housed the fireworks. The father and son didn't see the building explode into a blazing fire that spread in the wind. They didn't see the thousands of people caught up in the flames, the crowd panicking and trampling those who had fallen. But the artist did. She rested her arm on the window ledge and watched the story unfold. She listened to each wail and unanswered prayer and every damning curse. She smelled their fear and the sharp stench of burning flesh. She felt their sadness, their loss. When she couldn't handle any more, she turned to the southern window. The emptiness begged her to fill it, but she was hesitant to try once again to create a perfect picture. Finally, she decided that sometimes the simplest thing was best. She began depicting the core of the human race, one man and one woman who had taken each other in marriage, vowing to love one another till death did they part. The artist glanced out the window and watched the disheveled 33-year-old enter their living room and head to the dining room table. Saturday night's business dinner had turned very unprofessional, and all he wanted to do was close the blinds and crawl into bed. His wife was waiting for him at the table, holding a small, unmarked box behind her back, smiling from ear to ear. The artist returned to her canvas and filled in the details. On the table, a mound of unopened mail that the man hadn't the courage to open. The white box held a pregnancy test that had finally read positive after so many failed attempts. The artist remained seated and listened as the wife asked her husband how the dinner went and if he made the sale. He grunted something about the same old bullshit and opened the mail. His wife's next question was drowned out by his curses and the tearing of a letter in two. This was repeated 3 more times before the artist painted the couple's deceased son's Louisville Slugger. They kept it mounted on the wall, just within the husband's reach. After setting the finished piece against the wall, the artist listened as the wife broke the good news that they would once again have a family. The husband, overwhelmed by an unsuccessful career, a demanding mistress, and insurmountable bills, didn't tell his wife the baby couldn't be his. He couldn't admit to her that he'd had a vasectomy after their son died. He couldn't admit that he'd been lying to her every month of the past 5 years when she cried because she wasn't pregnant. He also couldn't contain his rage as he wondered whose baby she was carrying. The artist winced at the first thump. She didn't want to watch what he did with his dead son's baseball bat. Knowing the doctor had botched the vasectomy didn't make it any easier for the artist to watch the wife cower on all fours to protect the baby, screaming for God to stop him. God didn't, and the man continued the onslaught until the house was silent, except for his heavy breathing, the sound of her blood dripping on the hardwood floor. Sickened by the display, the artist took a blank canvas and set it on the easel below the western window. In a matter of moments, she had created a glorious church. She looked out the window and studied the pained expression of Jesus hanging on the colossal crucifix. She counted the abundant gold items, wondering how much money the church had spent on them, instead of on the hungry and meek it claimed to serve. A crowd of parishioners filed through the church doors, every type of villager filling the pews. The farmer and his family were in the front row, trying to get closest to God so he would answer the prayers for rain and an abundant crop. Across the aisle, an elderly woman said a prayer for her dead husband and asked when she might be reunited with him, not understanding that she never would. Believers and skeptics held hands as they wished for salvation and survival, peace and prosperity, fame and freedom. Conflicting prayers bounced off the tower's four walls. The farmer's prayers for rain were just as heartfelt as the travel agent's plea for clear skies. The teenage boy in the back held his girlfriend's hand and prayed she would abandon her beliefs and have sex with him, while she prayed God would give her the strength to hold out until they were married. Some prayers were silly, many were selfish, most unrealistic. But all were heard, and all were unanswered. The artist studied the canvas. She reached toward it and stroked the hair of a beautiful 8-year-old girl who promised over and over that she'd be good if God let her younger brother walk again. The boy had stepped on a landmine and lost both legs, but the girl truly believed God could change that. A few strokes later, the artist's brush paused, then peppered the street with her final touches. She listened to the rumble outside and set the canvas against the wall, stood at the window, and took in the entire scene. As the villagers set aside their differences and joined hands to say the Lord's Prayer, rebel insurgents crouched outside the building, holding their submachine guns, their fingers anxiously tapping the triggers. The rebels stormed the church, mowed down the farmer and his family, the preacher, the mayor, nearly everyone in attendance. The artist shook her head and left the tower. She'd try again tomorrow.